Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here with Midwest Market Management, getting to the tail end of the week here. It's Thursday, May 15th. Got Riley Sykart on with me here today. Going to take a look at U.S. weather here. Boy, things are really clicking along here for most of the Midwest, Riley. Eastern Corn Belt probably would still like to miss some rains, finish up some planting, but we're seeing some nice precipitation up in the Dakotas. Very well needed, as well as the 6 to 10 day had a bit of a shift here. And in my opinion, looks like that's going to be a very positive situation here.
Yeah, some big changes like you mentioned, especially that 6 to 10 days is going to be one that we have to spend a little bit of time on. But if you're ready, let's hop into the map so we can get right into it. All right. First thing I have today, this is kind of the boringest part of our weather outlook. Weather still looks good. Temperatures in the 70s. To the north, starting to see some highs only in the 50s, but not really anything to be concerned about. 6 to 10 day, a little bit warmer, 60s. Some areas in the 70s to way down south in the 80s. Temperature right now is pretty much a non-factor. Last 13 days of rain. You can see the big change right now over the last day or so. These Dakotas have started getting some of these rains that we saw in the forecast on Tuesday. And as we move into the 1 to 5 day, you're going to see that they're looking to continue to get some here today and maybe even a little bit more tomorrow. So that's the first one we mentioned, that Clint, that rain in that North Dakota, South Dakota area, as long as it's not a absolute leveler, it's exactly what they need.
You know, Riley, while we got this map up, I've been talking to some customers down in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky this week. And, they have just been bombarded with rain down there, very warm, humid conditions. And it's creating challenges, but they're the kind of challenges that today's producers work around and still manage to get things done. A lot of spraying needing to be done down there. Wet fields are making that a little bit of a challenge. But overall, they just mentioned that you could just see the corn growing down there right now. They got so much moisture in the warm weather.
So not a big impact on yield by any means. If anything, maybe to the friendly side.
Yeah, I would agree. I think probably the worst, the Indiana, Ohio is probably the biggest struggle right now.
Yep. And moving a little bit forward here, surface soil maps, these are from a couple days ago. These attest to those Dakotas getting those rains, how huge that is for them. I think this illustrates that perfectly, that, they can easily handle 2, 3, 4 inches of rain right now, and that might just get them back to the point where they're healthy.
Yep, definitely. Rain makes green in that country.
Yep, so farmers are happy to see that. Drought monitor map from this week, not any big changes there. Dakota starting to get a little bit less in color, so a little bit friendlier there. Moving forward here, as I mentioned, the last 13 days of rain showed that Dakota's had a good jag, and that's looking to continue here the next couple days, and that's really the only fresh news, I would say, in the 1 to 5 day. And we saw that on Tuesday. None of this was expected. The only thing we're waiting to see is how much rain actually comes out of that. So, Clint, any thoughts?
No, let's jump into the 6 to 10 day where we see a bit of a shift in from Tuesday. I do believe this map is probably the one that most gentlemen are going to be interested in here.
Yep. So the 6 to 10 day, the big change is there was shown some chances of rainfall in these areas on Tuesday, but the severity got brought up quite a bit. Areas Iowa, Illinois, maybe not so much Indiana, but everybody else happy to see these rains and definitely beneficial to crop progress, and probably helping out the bears of the market, kind of struggling to get a rally started. This is not going to help them by any means.
No, this definitely helps water things down a little bit. And from what I'm looking at, Riley, I believe this is kind of like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week time period that this system's supposed to be kind of moving through.
Yep. Looks like it's starting on Monday.
Yeah. Well, for Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, things just planted, nothing better than some good rain. So, we were talking a little before the broadcast, Riley, those heavy rains some of those rains in the Dakotas have been heavy, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear some replant issues there potentially. It's a little early to tell, but some of their crops were just recently planted, so if they weren't emerged, then they might have a little bit of emergence issues. But the offset to that is everything that is up or does get up, and that moisture will be adding bushels, as for sure adding bushels.
Yep, definitely. Everywhere that's not getting that big dumper of enough to replant, they're getting beneficial rains that are, fixing what issues they got. So
yeah, another thing to point out here, guys, is from a national yield perspective, this is reaching out to the 24th of May already. So if this materializes, traditionally late May, early June, we're not experiencing any excessive heat, so that's going to carry through for quite some time. And for a lot of if this actually materializes, we're talking second week of May or so, third week of May, that we'd be just fine with without any additional moisture, Riley.
Yeah, definitely would be exactly what the doctor ordered there. So
great. All right. Well, I don't really have anything to add to this. Do you?
Nope. 1 to 13 day just kind of puts everything together, but just a combination of the two, nothing really unexpected there. It looks a little darker than you'd guess, but overall, only areas that are even slightly not wanting rain anymore is that Ohio, Indiana area. They're kind of slower in planting normally, so this is not a huge meltdown for them by any means.
On an isolated issue, that area of dryness that you see, that hole in Kansas and Nebraska there, I've been talking to some guys in that region yesterday as well, and that they've been hurting not only recently, but just for a couple of years now. They've been kind of plagued with some dryness, so it'd be nice to fill in some gaps there. I know the struggle's pretty real out there.
Yep, that could be one thing that starts to get into people's minds a little bit. But right now, overall, switching to the rain makes grain mentality when almost the entire corn belt's getting rain, it makes it hard to think anything other than a good crop right now.
Yep, definitely off to a good start. A lot of growing season ahead of us, Riley. I appreciate you putting the maps together for us here today. Marcus Weather Group, appreciate their help on giving us access to this great platform. If you would like to get these messages sent to you direct, you can reach out to us at midwestmarketmanagement.com. And we will be back on here Tuesday morning to touch base with you again. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.